Here we are at the official launch of Challenge back in Australia. We are with Chris McCormack, who is a stakeholder in Challenge Australia. Tell us a little bit about your part in bringing Challenge back to the land down under.
We're in Melbourne, Sandringham, where the first Challenge event in Melbourne will be. But for me, I was an ambassador of the brand globally, and then we had the opportunity to bring Challenge back to Australia. So we formulated a company, and here it is. We have 3 races launching this year and early next year. It's very, very exciting times for us. We're very, very happy.
Now, tell us a little bit about the race directors who are putting on the different events. We've got Batemans Bay, Forster, and of course here in Melbourne. Have you met up with the race directors? Know a bit about the races they put on over the years?
Oh, of course. Well, we have Emmo. Anyone who's from New South Wales knows all Emmo's races. He has a great history in putting on fantastic events, and he's presenting the Batemans Bay race. It's and the Forster event. Very excited about Forster. It's the historic birthplace of long course racing in Australia. So we were very, very happy that we were able to lock that event out in Batemans Bay, which is a very, very tough race. And everybody knows David Hansen, the biggest, without question. You know, you think of the biggest triathlon race that's ever been in Australia. It was the Sydney Olympic Games. David Hansen was the race director for that event. I've known David for my entire career, and he got involved. He's bringing the event here in Sandringham in Melbourne, and very, very excited. We all had lunch today. It's we've all been gritting our teeth, hanging for the announcement. We made the announcement yesterday. We've been under lock and key for a while. It's been very, very exciting times, and we're very, very happy about everything, and moving forward it's going to be wonderful.
Now, speaking about keeping it under lock and key for a while, we know that hasn't just happened today.
Yes.
How long has this been a work in progress?
Oh, man, it's probably been about 8 or 9 months. There was a lot of events thrown around that we're talking about, venues that we were looking at, and we went through a lot of things back and forwards, and then we got in contact with the race directors we wanted to work with. They seemed very, very eager to work with us, and you have to find venues that suit the brand. Challenge is a global brand. They have events all around the world. Their marquee race in Roth is, in my opinion, the greatest triathlon event on the planet, and we really wanted to make sure that matched with the events we presented in Australia really matched that global brand, and we were able to do that with Forster. I was very, very excited about. Batemans Bay is a tough course I'd raced on as a junior, and it's a very, very nice event, and everyone, I believe that really the epicenter of triathlon right now in this country is Melbourne, and to pull an event here was very, very exciting. We were very attentive to the scheduling. We didn't want to clash with anyone else, Ironman included, and we looked at when we could put these races on so athletes could use these as stepping stones for events they're having around the country and around the world, and the scheduling was right, and we said let's rock and roll, let's get these announced and done, and here we are.
And will you be lining up for 1 or 3 of the events, do you know yet, or is it too far in the future to get your calendar sorted?
No, I'll be at all the events. At the moment, Forster may be a bit iffy this year because I'll be in Phuket, but 100% I'll be here in Melbourne, and 100% in Batemans Bay. Very, very excited. I want to make sure I'm supporting all the races, and I think the key thing, especially for the professionals, is that we're offering $30,000 prize money per race, which hearing not the complaints, but hearing from the professionals, that was always a concern. So I was very, very pushy of that. Myself and Felix were like, look, let's make sure we do the right thing by the young pros. It's a very difficult way to make a living around the world. Challenge has done that around the world, and I felt Australia didn't really have a solid prize purse pool where athletes could make a living here. So 3 races, $30,000 a race. It's good prize money for guys and girls. So very, very happy about that.
And there's also a really strong focus on age groupers with a lot of the challenge events as well. So I think it looks like there's something for everyone out there.
Well, you've done challenge races. You've been to them. I think they do age group racing better than anybody. It really is. People ask me why I got involved with Challenge in the first place. I've been racing Challenge races my entire career. I was racing them prior to myself winning Hawaii. Had some of my greatest battles in Roth over the years, and I've always thought that they've really stayed true to what triathlon racing was, and the reason why I came into the sport in the first place, and that is, the race directors. It's very family orientated. You're greeted at every finish line by the guy who runs the company, and Felix Wolschoffer, the German,
the crazy German,
amazing guy, very, very amazing guy. And I just feel that, for myself personally, they've just kept hold of that spirit, and I think any age group or any amateur that comes and races will see that it's a very, very different game to other races you're doing around the world. They do things special, and I'm very, very happy to be a part of it.
So looking at the future of triathlon in Australia or even Asia Pacific region, 3 new events, plus we had Challenge Taiwan last weekend. Yes. It really gives pros and age groupers an opportunity to stay put, really, and do a lot of their racing in their backyard, essentially.
And we have Phuket as well, which is end of season racing. That's really was the push on my end, was looking after the Asia Pacific area and making sure we can get some races out there for amateurs to do and some races for pros to do, to really bring that quality of event that the Europeans have always held on to, that Roth feel. If that, anyone, I keep talking about Roth, and until you see it, it's very, very difficult for you to grasp, but it's an amazing event, and I've really said you need to replicate this, Felix, around the world, and you will own endurance. I think that the feeling's amazing, and he's like, let's do this. And to bring that to Australia, to bring that to Asia Pacific, we want to do it slowly, make sure we held on to those core values, and you're going to see that with these first 3 races here in Australia. The Phuket race is spectacular, and the oldest race in Asia, and last weekend we had Taiwan, the first long course race in Asia for a very, very long time, and I think we're going to see a lot more races pop up over the years, and I'm very, very happy to be part of bringing that to this country.
Now, just lastly, let's just look at the competition of bringing in, a new race organisation back to Australia. Surely now everything's going to lift, and I'm talking across the board. WTC, Challenge, everything surely's got to lift really to promote, a good time for age group athletes and of course pros as well.
Yeah, well, I think there was a bit of a glut on the racing front about 5 or 6 years ago. I used to hear Australian amateurs and professionals complaining that there wasn't much here. Well, now between Challenge and Ironman and all these brands, there's so much quality racing, and I guess with extra racing and so many racing going on, it really drives the quality of events. And I know Challenge is very, very confident in the product they bring out, and I think the true beneficiary is going to be the amateur, or the people who are racing these events. And you can use these races now if you're working with your coaches or working with your team to plan your season. Then you can start to look at multiple different race organisations to prepare yourself for your main goal of the year.
Yep. Well, thank you very much. The feedback we've got already after 48 hours since it got launched has been incredible. So everyone's excited. We are here in Melbourne, and I can tell you firsthand, I'm extremely excited to get out on Beach Road and have a crack at a half distance.
I haven't raced on Beach Road since back in my short course days. Beach Road is famous for all the bike riders. Hell Ride I've heard about for years, but just looking at this course here, spectacular venue. The run out of the water is going to be tough, and I'm very much looking forward to racing here myself.
I got to say, that run out of the water is one of the toughest.
I was just asking, I said, we're coming up this hill, and they're like, yep. I'm like, that's a tough run. And in my head I thought, that's great, because if Clayton Fattel does this next year, I can run a bit of that distance out of him, because I'd love to win the inaugural race here. It'd be a nice tick to the box, but I'm sure with the prize purse we have, we're going to have some marquee pros racing. Actually,
just on that run out of the water, they have a sprint distance event here, and I think the run out of the water is bigger than the actual run itself.
The run out of the water is tough. I'm sure the people in Melbourne know it, but for people not here in Melbourne, it's uphill, quite a long way to transition. I'm sure after a tough swim, it's going to be a tough day at the office. The only hill in Melbourne. Thanks very much, and looking forward to seeing you guys pulling all this off. Cheers.